Hey everybody, this is Diturgy64 and welcome to my review for the first episode of Season 3 of Rick and Morty. The show is finally back with the Rickshank Rickdemption, obviously harkening to the Shawshank Redemption because it's about Rick breaking out of prison and all that sort of thing, so it's a title that definitely makes sense. And honestly, actually getting to talk about this because I was obviously going to make videos for Rick and Morty anyway, I had that planned. But I never expected the first episode to come on April Fool's Day. It was completely unannounced, so it was such a shock. So I'm making this review and the reaction, obviously, right on impulse. Like, I wasn't expecting this, so honestly, I didn't really have time to get ready for this. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. We're going to be just going over the first episode, some of my thoughts and where I think it could go from here. Because this was an enjoyable first episode with some epic moments and some kind of interesting moments as we go on. So yeah. So let's go ahead and get straight into it and just see what it has to offer. So the episode starts up in some sort of a diner with Rick just telling everyone how he escaped from prison, and basically he just explains that he wants to stay in this diner probably because he wants to run away, but it turns out that this is all just some made up reality by the Galactic Federation to basically find out what Rick knows about what he does, or pretty much how he made the portal gun, I guess is what they want to find out. At least from what I can gather from this episode, and that's basically where it goes. I don't know if this is what it was like when the episode first aired, but I didn't see an actual intro or the actual theme play when I watched the episode, so I don't know if that's what it was like when it actually aired. I don't even know if it aired on TV, or if it aired live online, if that's how it worked, so I don't know how it was on the actual day, but that's just how I saw it. Just want to point that out right there. So basically, we see what life is like on Earth with all the family. Jerry is working for the Galactic Federation and is doing quite well for himself. Obviously, him and Beth are still together, which we'll get to later on because that isn't doing too well. But obviously, Summer isn't too happy. She misses Uncle Rick, and she's the only one that does because everyone else hates him for pretty much bailing on them and, you know, all that sort of stuff. Even Morty doesn't seem too happy with him, which honestly kind of surprised me at first because Morty is kind of his best friend at this point. Honestly, he's the one I thought would have missed him the most, but for bailing on them, I guess Morty just really resents him for that. Obviously, by the end of the episode, not so much, I guess, but so I don't know, it just seemed a bit weird to me that he resented Rick a lot more. But yeah, then we head back to Rick and the little bug guy and find out that he wants to see how Rick made the portal gun because that's what they want to know, apparently. Don't really know why, and we don't really find out exactly why, maybe just to have all that power, but yeah. So then we see Summer is trying to basically find out where Rick is, going to try to break him out of prison, and later on we do see that they end up trying to dig his grave. You know, the grave from the Rick that died and we killed from when Rick destroyed the world. It gets really confusing, and this episode gets really weird. But this show's just very confusing in general, so it's kind of hard for me to talk about it in depth because it's so freaking confusing. But yeah, then we find out that we go back in time basically and we see Rick in his former years, and we see what happened to Beth's mother, and Beth herself died in an explosion, which obviously isn't true, and you know, it was just a fabrication made by Rick to actually escape, obviously, because it's Rick, he's smart, he's the smartest man on Earth, so yeah. So Summer and Morty end up going to the end of the world type dimension or reality where Rick ended up destroying the world with all the creatures that Rick had created when they all fell in love with Morty, so yeah. Nice harkening back to that episode as well, I really appreciated that, but yeah, they just end up leaving from that dimension. And then all the Ricks pop in from the Citadel of Ricks, which, again, this episode gets so crazy, I don't really know what to say about it. It is insane. So yeah, a bunch of Ricks pop in from the Citadel of Ricks saying, hey, we'll break Rick out of prison, but we'll also assassinate him because screw that guy. They never really liked him in the first place, so it makes sense in a way. But yeah, basically Rick ends up successfully escaping from the Galactic Federation by taking over some of the bugs' body and basically starts hopping between the different bugs and the different Ricks. When all the Ricks from the Citadel of Ricks pop in, he takes over their minds and then heads back to the Citadel of Ricks where Morty and Summer are, getting even more confusing in the process, and ends up transporting the Citadel of Ricks into the Galactic Federation, basically pretty much just destroying them, ending up in an all-out war between a shootout between Rick, one of the higher-ups in the Citadel of Ricks, and who has Summer in her hostage. Basically, all goes according to Rick's plan, and he ends up escaping by the skin of his teeth, ends up taking down the Galactic Federation in the process, and going home nice and swiftly. Everything's fine, Galactic Federation are gone, everything can go back to normal. with the added conclusion that Jerry and Beth are divorcing, which is crazy, but it has been kind of built up over the last 2 seasons. So yeah, that's the episode. I've had to go through this super fast. I know it's a long episode, but I couldn't really go through it in incredible detail. These reviews don't like to be too long, but wow, this got really crazy. I've tried to just go over it as fast as possible. I do want to just basically say about that last scene as well in the episode, how it really does harken back to the first ever episode of the show, with Rick giving his long-winded speech to Morty on how they're going to go on all these crazy adventures, Rick and Morty and all that sort of stuff. So it's really nice to see a lot of old episodes being harkened back to. I really appreciate that from the show, and they do seem to be just keeping it up with this season, which is really awesome. In addition to all that, and there's so much that happens in this episode, I'm going through this way too fast, I know, but really it's insane. We do see an after credit scene, as per usual, with Bird Person, who is now Phoenix Person, which is insane. He's back, he's alive. Frankly, I don't care. I liked Bird Person, he was awesome, and it's good to see him alive and kicking as Phoenix Person. He has wings. I don't know if he's evil now. I'm guessing he's working with the Galactic Federation, and now he's going to want to try and go against Rick. That's what it seems like to me, and we'll see why that leads in later episodes. It will definitely come back to a hunt down Rick, I guess. I don't know, but I expect that we'll see him again later on. So yeah, overall that's the episode, and yeah, there was so many things in this episode that really just made me think, holy crap, this could be amazing. For one, I mean, knowing that Jerry's going to leave is kind of crazy. I do like Jerry sometimes. You know, he's like the one nobody likes, but he's still enjoyable at times, and I think it's going to be quite sad to see him go. I don't think he'll be completely written off 100%, obviously, but yeah, kind of sad to see him go completely, for now anyway. But at least this opens up more adventures. Everything's back to normal. There's no more Galactic Federation hunting down Rick. There's a lot more things they can do. There is one thing I was thinking they could do for this season, which is the evil Morty storyline. I do want to see that come back, like what the hell happened with that. That's something they can definitely come back on, and that'll be really interesting to see. And I guess there's also Fart, which is something else pretty interesting. I know he died, I remember. I don't really remember that episode too well, but it will be interesting to see like Fart or those guys come back. I don't know, I love Jermaine Clement as that, it was great. One of my favourite songs in the show, but yeah, I don't know, from what I've heard this is the longest season as well, so again there's more they can do, and it's just going to be so much fun. It really is. It doesn't come back till summer, obviously. I don't know again if that's intentional, because obviously there's a character called Summer, and yeah, it's just going to be a lot of fun. This episode was great though. I did think it really set up, it just closed down the plotline of Rick broke out of prison, he had his own like Shawshank Redemption, and it really worked quite well, so yeah. Really great episode. I loved it. It's great to see this show back, and I hope it is for you guys too. I don't know. I just wanted to make a really quick review. I went through the episode incredibly fast. I know I did, but I think the season's going to be incredible, and I really do, and I hope you guys do think too. Again, there's so much I could say, but really, I don't really know what else to say. I've said my piece with this episode, so I don't want to go on for too long. If you guys enjoyed this video, I guess, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See you guys then.